Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our online info session about our Unit Clerk Certificate Program at Ashton College. I'm Davina from the Marketing and Communications team at Ashton. Today, we're joined by Tina Toal, an active and dedicated faculty member in Ashton College's Unit Clerk Certificate Program. We'll address some questions today about her career path, the Unit Clerk Certificate, her teaching style, employment opportunities in the field, and more. Okay, so with that being said, let's get right into the interview portion of this session. Welcome, Tina, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Davina. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So yeah, let's start with my first question for you. So can you give us a short breakdown of what working as a unit clerk involves?
Unit clerk is really the backbone of any hospital unit. You're responsible for ensuring everything runs smoothly, processing doctor's orders, managing patient records, coordinating with nurses, physicians, and other departments. It's fast-paced, rewarding role that keeps you engaged and connected to the heart of patient care for sure.
That's great to hear. Sounds definitely very versatile and super important. Great. So can you tell us about your career and educational background and why you chose this career?
I started my career a while ago, 1998. I started my career as a unit clerk, and I've never looked back. I've over the years done many different settings, different roles. I've worked in oncology to surgery units to emergency, and that experience gave me a depth understanding of how hospitals function. I moved into roles like patient care coordinator, clerical supervisor, um, secretary role. I've done a few roles at different hospitals, and then that led me to teaching. And I chose this path because I love helping people. That's probably my favorite part of being an instructor, is to see how the student progresses and gets to their chosen career. And I love sharing my knowledge, and I have a lot of passion for it, and I want to share that with everyone.
I think that's the kind of instructor everybody would wish for. So yeah, that's great to hear. Then my next question for you is, can you tell me a little bit about the Unit Clerk Certificate Program here at Ashton?
This program is designed to give students solid foundation of hospital operations. We cover everything from medical terminology, order processing, to communication skills and hospital systems. Our goal is to prepare students to walk confidently into a hospital setting, knowing what to expect and how to handle it.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I feel like, I mean, sounds like a great foundation to enter the field and get ready for a great career. Perfect. So then what is your favorite part of the program and what do you think students would benefit from the most if you had to choose one or two things?
Like I sort of mentioned before, my favorite part is watching them grow in their field and their confidence. They come in very sort of hesitant at first, and then to see them slowly becoming more confident and, more knowledgeable. Um, it's like the real world insights and scenarios we go through, and I share my own personal experience. So I feel that because, I'm sharing my real experience and passing it along, it gives them a really clear idea of what they're getting themselves into in that chosen career. And I would say that would be my favorite part, watching them from the beginning to the end, obviously. Yeah. I become really proud of them, that's for sure.
For sure. That's definitely, I can imagine that would be a great thing to see. Then how would you describe your teaching style?
I'm very supportive, very transparent, approachable. I love bringing real life examples into the classroom, like I mentioned. I want the student to feel comfortable asking me anything and to understand the why behind what we do and what we're learning, and not just memorizing steps. It's actually getting that in-depth understanding. So my goal is always to build the confidence and competence, and I love building the relationship with the student. I feel like anything can be learned, But when you don't have that connection with your instructor, sometimes you limit yourself a little bit. And I think if I have the goal of being that person, that resource for the student, then they get more out of it. And then they actually will learn better, I feel.
Definitely. I mean, especially when the student doesn't feel like they have to hold back. Definitely a super, super good approach. Okay, perfect. And then about your expectations, what are your expectations of students in the program, and how much study time will students need to dedicate each week to be successful?
I expect students to show up with the eagerness, the curiosity, the commitment, being willing to grow and learn. It is an intensive program and it requires a consistent effort. On average, I would say students should plan to dedicate around 10 to 15 hours per week outside of class for study and practice. And it also depends on their background. I have some students that have some healthcare setting background already, so it might be an easier transition for them, but I would say you should still allow that much time for sure.
That'll make it easier for sure to like d dive into the topic and really get a good grasp of it. Perfect. Then my next question for you is, what are some career options or typical next steps for students after they graduate?
Graduates can go directly into hospital settings. There's also long-term care or other health authority-based roles. If you go onto the different health authority websites and go under the career section, you can see a lot of different types of roles. Unit clerk is definitely the one, certification we would be going for. Some of the students use this as a stepping stone as well into further healthcare training, like nursing or health administration. It's a great gateway into healthcare system with plenty of room to grow. Yeah, a lot of students use it as like a gateway entry, right? It's a lot of the students want to be nurses, and I think that's awesome. But sometimes they don't want to commit to that big program. And this is just a good way to be working in the industry, working with the team, and seeing what it really is like.
Definitely. I mean, I would imagine too, it'll make the nursing program later on easier because, I mean, you already have the experience. That's a great idea for sure. In your opinion, what are the most essential skills or qualities needed to be successful in this field?
Strong communication, number one. Attention to detail, knowing how to prioritize, adaptability, being very flexible. It's always changing in healthcare, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. Uh, this position has a lot coming at it. It's can be chaotic, but I feel if you have those skills in place, you'll be quite successful in the position. And I also would say compassion, having empathy. It may be a clerical role, but we're still an important frontline part of the team, and we support our patients and families. And you need to have that empathy and compassion, and it'll just make your job and your personal experience even more. Like when we care about our job, we usually have a better, performance and a better life in the career as well.
Those sound like they're really crucial skills for sure. Having the compassion and of course the communication skills. Perfect. Then, so my next question, what's a typical day in the life of someone working as a unit clerk? I'd imagine there are very, very many different scenarios
Yeah.
you would be working in.
And no 2 days are exactly the same, which is part of the appeal. And you'll be starting by reviewing patient lists, checking orders, coordinating tests or consults, answering phones, updating charts, communicating constantly with the care team. It's busy, but it's very fulfilling work. And it depends on the unit. It depends where you want to work, right? So it's always different. And I like it because there's a lot of variety. So if you don't like a certain type of unit, you can go to another one.
Definitely. Yeah, that sounds really great. I mean, especially for, yeah, many people who like that things change up and not always kind of do the same thing every day. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. Perfect. Then, so what advice would you give to students who are new to the field?
Be open to learning. Don't be afraid to ask questions and trust the process. Everyone starts somewhere, And with consistency and curiosity, you'll be amazed at how much you can grow over a short time.
That's definitely great advice. Just stay consistent and keep at it. Perfect. And what would you say is your number one reason why students should choose a career as a unit clerk and specifically through this program?
This program is built by people who've walked the walk. I have a lot of experience. Um, so, combining practical skills with real world insight, and we truly care about the student's success. Plus, becoming a unit clerk is it's a good way to enter healthcare, as we talked about prior, and it's a respected role that opens a lot of doors.
Yeah, that's definitely a great way of doing it and a good reason to choose Ashton for it. Perfect. Then, what has changed the most in your field since you started?
Technology. I feel like that's every industry right now, but technology has transformed how we work. Electronic health records, digital communication, hospital systems are now central to the job. But what hasn't changed is the need for reliable, compassionate people who keep everything running behind the scenes. And the unit clerk role is changing. But it's been talked about for many years. Like, I've been in the industry almost 30 years now, and we were talking about it then, about how technology may change the unit clerk role, and it's still a need. It's evolving into a different role, but it's still very much frontline, and you're still the hub of the unit. You're still keeping everything running. So I don't think we have any fear of technology. I think it's just going to change it slightly, but it's always still needed.
It's probably the same at the core, but just the circumstances and of course technology changes. Let's have a look if we've got any audience questions. Do students get to try out real life scenarios or practice scenarios to help them build confidence in making decisions on the job?
So there is a practicum portion to our program. So that's where you would be able to everything you've learned in the program and put it to a real life scenario. So practicum is definitely a gift at the end, I would say, of all your hard work, and you get to actually put it all into practice.
Great entry, way of entry into the industry. Awesome. Then does the program help students learn about how to act professionally and get along well in a healthcare workplace?
Definitely. When we have our classroom format or environment, we have policies in place at Ashton College where we do act accordingly and professionally. And as far as like my instruction in my classrooms, we have the classroom norms, so to speak. We have our rules of how we want to conduct ourselves, how we want to treat each other. And that is something that I definitely believe in. And teaching you the communication skills is going to go hand in hand with that.
That's definitely, yeah, 100% true. Um, then what are some common problems new unit clerks hit when they start working, and how can students get ready for those during the program?
I would say it's more like the logistics of working. So how are you going to get to work? How are you going to, where are you going to park? How long is it going to take you? How are you going to incorporate this into your real life? I find those things sort of I wouldn't say roadblocks, but definitely concerns that students have. They're in the program, but when it comes to practicum or even working, that is a change. And that is something that we do talk about in the classroom as well. And, how do we get prepared? And I think that's an important supportive way that I do help the students, because I want them to be successful in the position and to see them get through any kind of, you know, concerns or roadblocks. Or I find it just like, it's just, you got to be willing and open to change and being adaptable. That was part of the skill set that I said that, we really should have. So I think if you do all those things and you're confident and you have support, I think you'll do well.
That's definitely great to hear, and I think that's definitely one of the good things about Ashton, that we kind of prep the student for the actual workplace and make the transition easier. Another person is asking, what does doing well in the program look like? Are there any clear goals or signs you're on the right track?
We have assessments throughout our program, so it's definitely something that you would be aware of. I'm very transparent with the students and I'm very supportive. So if I feel that a student is maybe behind or having a hard time keeping up with workload, I will reach out and I will have that. This goes back to me where I'm building a relationship with each student and they already feel comfortable and trust me and know that I would be helping them. So having that already established, or that's, my main goal, it really helps the students feel supported. So when they are having a hard time in our personal lives, because life happens, then they know that, oh, I can reach out to my instructor because, I trust Tina will help me and guide me. And, if I have to maybe have a schedule of a deadline for something and we have to maybe work on that and make it work for you, that that flexibility is there. All those skill sets that we have for the student, it's on me too. So I need to be adaptable too because life does happen, right? So I feel that as long as we have that communication always happening with each other, then we can get through anything.
That definitely seems like a good balance between letting the student know what to expect from different assessments and giving them your expectations, but also having that flexibility and allowing for their personal life. Okay, great. Um, what is the next question here? Have any former students really stood out or shared cool success stories?
Again, because I build relationships with my students, I do stay in contact with them and they do email me or contact me and say, "Hey, I got hired here," or "I did this," and I and I ask for them to do that because I actually do care about their success and where they end up. So, and I've actually seen my past students in the workplace. I've done practicum for other programs and classrooms, and I've actually seen my students in the action in the workplace. So if you just keep doing what you're, following the program and following the curriculum and having that great communication, then yeah, you can definitely do well.
Yeah, I think that's definitely great to hear for prospective students knowing that they'd have an instructor who actually cares. Okay, somebody else is asking, do you need any prior experience?
No, if you go into the prerequisites for the program, there isn't any. That'd be definitely an administrative question probably, but as far as I am aware, there isn't any. Does it help to have some? I think it always, helps to have some, but it's not required. You can definitely get into this program without any prior healthcare experience.
Perfect. Then my last question for now that I have here is, do grads keep in touch after finishing? Is there a way for them to connect or support each other after the program?
I do encourage them to have their own group in the classroom. So a WhatsApp group, for example, is very common. And they will create a group so throughout the whole program, and then they get relationships and they have connections. And I encourage that in the beginning because I'm one person. So I really encourage a collaborative approach in the classroom. And that's with each other. Your peers are going through the same thing. You can learn from each other and you develop friendships. And it's always nice to have connections and network. So yeah, I do believe that after graduation, students stay connected.
That's great. Yeah, I'm sure people would like to hear that, that you all actually also build the connection in an online environment. That's really great. Okay, so I just got in another question. As a parent, will I be able to handle the study load?
Yeah, I have lots of students that are parents. I have students from all ages. I have students that are newly graduated from high school, and I have students that are coming back after, not being in the workforce for many years because of childbearing years. So yeah, I have lots of students that have little ones at home. And I think that's what this program is so great, because there is the flexibility of life stuff, personal obligations. And there's no reason why a parent, even a single parent, couldn't, do this program, as long as you're willing to be communicative with your instructor and be willing. I think anything is possible.
That's definitely, yeah, makes education so much more accessible, that flexibility that Ashton offers.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. There don't seem to be any more audience questions right now. And thank you so much for everyone's participation and questions. Tina, do you have any closing thoughts summing up what you were talking about today?
I appreciate the opportunity to share, and I look forward to seeing anyone who's thinking about joining. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Tina, for taking the time to allow prospective students to learn more about this program and about you, and ask all their questions. It's so valuable hearing from an industry expert like you with lots of practical experience and knowledge in the field. If you're interested in the Unit Clerk Certificate Program, please learn more by scanning the QR code that I will screen share in a minute. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us today, and have a great day.